Welcome back to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference, empowering the good, and we love talking about My Town Miracles. We're honored to be joined by Whitney Williams, Executive Director of My Town Miracles. How are you doing?
I am wonderful. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, My Town Brands, My Town Miracles. When you talk about My Town Miracles, nonprofit doing so many good things. We'll talk all about the opportunities to plug in with the community and the good you're doing. But let's start with a little bit of context. Give us a little bit of history for My Town Miracles.
Absolutely. So My Town is the brand of 3 for-profit companies and a couple of the owners within that, as it launched into some success back in 2016, said, man, in our hearts and in our passion, we just want to help people. And so they were like, let's collectively come together as a nonprofit. And so from My Town Movers, My Town Roofers, and My Town Properties, 2 of the owners created My Town Miracles. And after gaining some momentum of really seeing like, oh, helping people. Yes, we're doing it. They hired an executive director, and Brandon Artilli served for 6 years and really defined a mission to elevate children out of instability and insecurity. And I am pretty brand spanking new as I jumped in on September 1st. So we are now just continuing to work to provide stability and security for children, and really focusing in on partnering with other nonprofits, with other after-school programs, with schools, churches, to really come alongside the work that other nonprofits are doing to alleviate burdens and barriers that families and children are facing.
You mentioned being new to the role, stepping in September 2022, but you're not new to making a difference and giving back and, being plugged into the Mid-South. So give a little bit of your background.
Sure. Thank you. So born and raised Memphian from Germantown, and just grew up in this network of just lovers and doers of good. And I graduated from UT Knoxville, go Vols, and thought, as I come from a family of teachers and working especially with special ed in the special ed department, I thought that I was meant to be a teacher. And I taught for 2 years and got my feet wet in serving kids in underserved communities. And from there, I was like, wow, I think this is bigger than just me teaching. And so most recently, from 2014 to 2020, I served as the program director of Red Zone Ministries in Orange Mound. And that was the most formative experience in my entire life. And in there, I really began to understand what to be a Memphian truly looks like in the service and in the need and in the hope for our city. And so most recently, I was a part of Urban Art Commission as a program manager, and worked to bring the art to some of the same communities that I've been working in before and now. And so just really passionate about coming alongside families to share Christ's love and just being the hands and feet of Jesus.
Yeah, and I think all of that paints the picture when you talk about your background, My Town Miracles, perfect synergy. And, when you look at all these relationships and opportunities and things that you bring to the table, very powerful way to serve and opportunity when you talk about the faith aspect and partnering with organizations to pour into youth. Really powerful way to make a difference. And so let's go ahead and dive deeper in. And you mentioned coming alongside organizations. I think that's a very strategic approach on your end. That's an awesome piece of what you do, is not trying to duplicate efforts, but really
Absolutely.
accelerate the wheel and work in partnership. And so talk
Absolutely.
about that aspect.
Yes, I think that comes from a direct experience personally, and then as well as looking at how far people want to reach when they see things on the news, and when they see things from newsletters of organizations or churches saying, hey, this is what's going on. And for me, like you mentioned, it's not about reinventing in the wheel. It's like, let's get this wheel to spin without the squeaks. And so we are not a program. We do not provide programming. Our goal and our focus, and something that I'm driven by personally, is 2 words: access, exposure. And that comes on both sides. For the people that want to get involved in the city and want to say, hey, I want to help, I want to serve, or I want to give, what do I do? we want to be a platform to say, like, what are you passionate about? And we will provide the access and the exposure to say, you want to work directly with youth? Did you know that this is going on in this neighborhood? Or, hey, there's neighborhoods inside neighborhoods that are trying to do good work, And so plugging in, and I think that especially coming from Memphis, being one of the most, or not one of the most benevolent cities, we look at people want to serve and people want to love, right? But there is a hesitancy, particularly from the opposite of what you do and showing the good news on, through media. And so there's a fear. And the way that we completely remove those fears is exposure. And the more you're exposed to opportunities and experience to see that people are people and we're the same and there's one love, and in that, like, how do we give and do? Then it all comes together. And so again, from a giving point, we want to be just that platform to catapult Memphians in to opportunities that they may not have known were available or may have had fear to wholeheartedly jump in. And then the flip side of our giving, where the money goes and where the time and the resources go, is into these neighborhoods in Memphis directly to families, to the children, to meet basic needs. And where we're coming alongside the organizations is, while we don't do the programming, there are so many incredible organizations that have programming going on and are providing for families after school care or before care and weekend activities and summer camps. And I think coming from my experience in Red Zone, something that was really, I was passionate about that Brandon had begun is we want to walk alongside families, and to do that really intentionally, we want this to be this holistic model where if these kids are in the programs or in the schools and they're receiving the literacy and support, but we're going home and we're dropping them off at the end of the day, and we know that there's not food on the table that week, or we hit a bump in the road and we can't keep our lights on. Most of our programs don't have budget line items or it's a small number to be able to meet these families in that type of need, and so they can call on us and they can say, hey, we've got this kid that needs this type of support. And, from food to clothing to scholarships to car repairs to celebrating. Actually, just this morning, we provided the security deposit for a family that's been homeless since August, to go get the keys and get in their new home. And so that's kind of where we step in to bring it, to hopefully take a few more squeaks out of those wheels.
Yeah, and to step in and, the nonprofits, the organizations, the schools, they see the gaps immediately. Right. And then to say, hey, like you said, this isn't a line item on their end, but hey, we see the gap. Can you come in? And all of a sudden you can step in and pour in, and, all of a sudden now you get to really make a difference, and everyone is better for it in the community. And I do think it's important, just like you said, when people start serving and building those relationships, the city really opens up in a beautiful way. You start seeing people come together. And so let's dive in, because you have a number of opportunities for the community to get involved, but also to see the magic unfold. And so you have the Valentine's Initiative. Let's start there. Let's kind of work our way through. So talk about the Valentine's Day Initiative.
The Valentine's Initiative is in partnership with Refugee Empowerment Program in Binghamton, and Cam Eccles-Blackman, phenomenal, and has been doing the great work for years and years in Binghamton. And currently we are providing care bags to 205 youth that attend their after school program. And I think, again, going back to the access and exposure for us, it's a very small thing that this initiative was. It was about a care bag, like estimated around $50, of just go run in Five Below or Target or Dollar Tree and grab necessities, because at the end of the day, recognizing that a child in poverty or a refugee or an immigrant that is starting over, like what a small thing that it's like, all these toothbrushes, they are yours, and this is your toothpaste, and this is your hat and your gloves that you don't have to share with anyone. And just being able to celebrate, like, just a quick happy for someone is huge to us, to be able to, REP already has their programming going on. So for us to just be able to like come in with that. And then on the flip side, again, going back to what it is for the Memphians that are wanting to do the good and the work, is how many cool conversations I've had saying, I did not know that these 17 countries that we had refugees in Binghamton. I did not know that this was going on in Memphis. And so to ignite that within people, to see these bigger conversations around what we're doing and why are they in Binghamton, or why were people brought into Memphis, Tennessee? Like, that is such an incredible space and place. And so as we want to elevate our mission, we want to be sure to elevate the mission of other organizations too, that are out here doing things every single day, you know? So that's an exciting, just small little moment of what an easy way to make a child recognize, like, whoa, someone sees me, I matter, like their name is on it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about the monthly food drives.
Yes, that is just probably, I believe, something I get the strongest feedback from volunteers that participate. And just it is such a simple, every second Tuesday of each month, just you pack and load groceries into cars. And it began back 31 months ago, actually, to be exact. And it was an effort that came alongside through Red Zone Ministries, through Beulah Baptist Church and Red Zone, in honor of Fred L. Davis. And again, just connecting to the history, and it's, I mean, what a name, what a powerhouse, just to be able to do something in honor of Fred Davis. And it came about during COVID, as you know, in Orange Mound, food insecurity is an extremely relevant topic. I mean, there's not a grocery store in Orange Mound, and so during COVID, food insecurity was heightened. And then after COVID and everyone kind of life got back to normal, that became, we got to keep this up. And so we're out there, rain or shine, with about 15 to 25 volunteers, and it's 8:30 to 10:30 every second Tuesday of each month. You can come alone, you can come as a business, you can come with friends, you can come, children can come if they have a parent with them. And I mean, it's an incredible thing. You see, you know, at this point, we have folks that, like, we feel like we're doing life with, because cars are lined up by 5 and 6 in the morning to take home these groceries from the Mid-South Food Bank. So it's just an incredible, easy way to love your neighbor.
Absolutely. Carry that into your spring initiative.
Yes. Okay. This one is in the planning phase, and it's just like, this is our biggest thing, where I think folks could jump in such a cool and special way. Again, like I probably sound like a broken record at this point, but I think something that's so unique to my town's mission and just to Memphis in general is this small town mentality where everyone is truly connected. And in that, where we use wording like we come alongside and we walk alongside, it's because this isn't a give and a take thing, right? There's not a giver and a recipient. Like, we're all one and we're all connected in that. And so we're trying to build relationships, and we're trying to build connections from the people that are involved on both ends of this. And our spring initiative is we are partnering with Red Door Urban Missions in Whitehaven and the young adults from Bellevue Baptist Church. And we are going to provide a baby shower for 100 households in Whitehaven. And this is just, again, to just share the love and just to show the support of, hey, you're a young mom, you're a young dad, like here's the season of life that we walked through. And again, from this being a space to build relationship, while of course we will need some new items, this is such an incredible chance to provide, you know, the crib that's been sitting in someone's attic, where you said, oh, we'll need this one day, and then we decided not to have another child, or we got to save this box of clothes, and then it got pushed to the side, or you got way too many clothes. And so just really, again, allowing individuals to feel seen. But all of our initiatives, and this one specifically, and our Christmas initiative, the biggest, well, and Thanksgiving, the biggest intention behind it is it's not about what the giver wants to give. It's about what the receiver needs. And in that, everything is intentionally curated. So it's not saying, oh, the Park family, hey, we got all this stuff, we're just passing it over. We are going to go through every single item that's donated and have it curated to know that baby Jeremy only needs 0 to 3 month boy clothes, and his mom wants his nursery football themed. So we're not putting a single baseball in there if it's football themed, but maybe over at his dad's house, you know, it may look different. And I think something special in this that Eric Watkins of Red Door Urban Missions is really passionate about is, you know, oftentimes when we think about expectancy and the newborn, we of course, we want to love on our mothers, but we don't want to forget the men that are walking through this season of life too. So this baby shower, it'll be at Hillcrest High School, and it is going to be themed to support both mothers and fathers, whether they are together or where they're in two different households.
So if you have a spring initiative, there's also a summer and a fall and a winter initiative. So give us a little bit of teaser of, some of the things a little bit later on this year and the way that the community can plug in.
Yes. Right now as the school, we're kids are getting stir crazy for spring break. I think looking at that, something big that we do is coming into the summer is we provide scholarships for graduating seniors. And this is for whatever post-secondary opportunity they have. But we are in partnership with Excel Scholarship and Leadership Program through Memphis Leadership Foundation for this. And it's really unique and incredible because one, not only can the funding go to more than just, again, what we want to allocate it towards, it's working with that student to understand what's your actual need. And so like 2 years ago, our recipient, incredible scholar from Melrose High School, and she ended up getting enough for her books. But the huge gap that we were able to come alongside is she was able to use funding from our scholarship to work to get a car. And so not only was she at school and excelling, she was also able to drive to and from her job, and is now making income while she is a college student. Also, this past year, we had a student that attended Gould's Academy. And so same thing, it's just a smaller program, but whatever dreams that these kids are casting forward, we're coming alongside them to fulfill that. And there's a mentorship aspect within that. And that's where Excel comes in to make sure that, hey, grades are getting checked, but what else? How's it going? How's it feel in this new space and place? So there's accountability in that. And there's also opportunity for anyone to come alongside and be a mentor and just have easy phone calls, just check-ins of what's going on, how's it going, how are those grades? I think we could have all used that.
Absolutely.
So that is coming up. And then when we roll around to the fall, which, God, that'll be here before we know it, won't it? I'm like, are we here? In the fall, we will do our More Than a Meal initiative. And it is simply that. It is more than a meal. This is Thanksgiving. And the goal within that is, while a turkey drive is an incredible thing, again, in not giving what we think people need, it's looking at what families are saying they want and need within their household. And so 100 families received all the ingredients, all the recipes, and all the cookware to prepare a Thanksgiving meal together as a family. And again, and looking at a bigger picture in that now, if you got more than just the food, your kitchen is stacked. You're ready to cook meals here on out. So that's just an incredibly cool thing and special way to kind of gear up the holiday season. And then at Christmas, this past Christmas, we fulfilled Christmas wish list for 210 kids in Orange Mound. And that is just a really special way to, again, show kids that we're there and they feel seen. This one is in partnership with the parents. This is us building directly to ask, hey, what does your child need? What do you want them to have? And on December 23rd, which was that fun ice storm, we still had all of our support come out, and we had some individuals dressed as superheroes that went door to door and passed out beds, basketball goals, tablets, school supplies, new shoes, new underwear, perfumes, jewelry, anything that is able to really help prepare a child for stepping into the new year, coats, all of it. That's the giving, that's the effort in just really stewarding. Like how do we make people feel seen and loved?
So wrap up with how the community can help, and then obviously where we go to help. So website, social media, and those pieces. But obviously, as we've been talking, financial contributions to underwrite your efforts, extremely important to make the magic and all of this happen. Mm-hmm. Volunteerism, like you've been talking about, is so critically important. Mm-hmm. So talk about those ways to start plugging in, and then where do we go?
Yeah, thank you. So yes, with all of our initiatives, there's always, there's an effort, because I think in looking at the type of givers, people give in different ways. Some people are in a season of life that they can give time. Some people are there to give money. Some can do both. And so we accept it all. We love it all, right? So I won't repeat all the effort in that initiative, but I think another thing is looking at our daily missions and coming alongside our partners daily. We are walking alongside families to, you know, help with utilities, help with getting rehomed. And another simple way is, how can you show up? Like, we are always in need of a truck because we are often rehoming a gently used mattress to a family that's been sleeping on the floor or been sleeping through to the bed, you know. And so there's just very simple ways to come and get involved. We don't have a clothes closet. We don't collect things, but we're oftentimes in need of furniture and cookware and those types of things. So, you know, there's just plenty of ways to connect. Also, just starting with a connect. Like, I love a good coffee date. Like, and I think for us, again, in stewarding strong relationships, like understanding, like, what are you passionate about? And again, we'll make those connections and build those relationships. We also, in working with Le Bonheur to do adaptive bikes for children who have disabilities, that's an incredible thing to experience and be able to participate in. So, I mean, all of that is can be found on the link through our website, which is mytownmiracles.org. We love to share what's going on in kind of real time and then give people examples of what's going on our Instagram, which is mytown_miracles. But I mean, my cell phone is my work phone, and obviously I love to talk, so would love to connect. And I mean, we're here. That's what we're here. We're here to help connect and get people plugged in to the giving and the doing.
I love it, but you're passionate about what you do, and that's
hey.
You're out there powering the good. I love it. So, Whitney, thank you for all you and your amazing team do. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.